It's the When Fishing Podcast. Applying techniques.
Then I put the C rigs on the A rigs.
Bringing fresh ideas.
They can't all be good ones.
Talking stories.
Yo.
Reports.
About 5 knots out of the wind.
Conservation.
You're probably too close.
All to make you and I better fishermen. Hello and welcome back to the show. I'm Jeremy. Let's get started. The last release was the Milton Love episode, and that was fun. So it's been a whole month since I did a sort of report or solo sort of episode, so I have just a wee bit of catching up. But I haven't been. I've been fishing about once a week, doing all kinds of different things. There's a lot of shit on my plate, so I can't always be prioritizing fishing right now. Plus, it hasn't been super ideal for a little boating with like morning winds and kind of shitty tides when it is good or when the winds are down and all this shit. So going all the way back, I tried so I got word that there might have been some corvina. So there was some surface action in Huntington Harbor. So I was like, all right, I mentioned this in the Milton Love podcast, by the way. I got the idea that I wanted to go after bluefin fishing. It's like, all right, scale the way the fuck back. Try and see if I can find some new species inside the harbor. Never leave the harbor. I get too antsy in the harbor. I leave. I want to go on a long boat ride. So I get to the harbor. I hear there's surface action on the way out. So it's like, okay, that's cool. It sounds like corvina to me. If it's not mullet, and didn't sound like it was mullet the way they were describing it. So I went went out, and there was surface action. So I threw a little, what's it called? It's like a 1/4 ounce Yozuri little jerk bait, little slash bait, whatever you want to call it. Skinny jerk bait, skinny crank. I digress. And within a few casts, I hook up and I bring it in, and it's a short white sea bass. So Mr. Dr. Love mentioned that short white sea bass will do that. They'll pop on the surface. So I kept throwing it around. This was before the conversation, by the way. So I kept throwing it around, hoping that there might actually be a corvina around, and I never got another bite out front in the marsh area. So after like an hour, I bailed and started. What did I do? Oh, I don't know, man. What did I do? Yeah, I was trolling. Slow trolling through the hob for halibut, and I had a little like shiny, a chrome blue jointed crankbait trolling as well towards the surface for, I don't know. Oh yeah, needlefish. That was my other thing. I don't know. Has anybody heard of the curse of targeting needlefish? You can't target needlefish, otherwise you'll be cursed. I don't know. So somebody brought that up. Shout out Tom. And I didn't get any needlefish, so, and it was kind of a poor day, so maybe I was cursed. So yeah, I was just trolling what the fuck was I trolling? Oh, I was trolling a flash minnow down on the bottom on a 3-way rig looking for halibut, and then up top the jointed crankbait for the needlefish. Never got bites on either. Trolled all through the harbor. I don't remember what the tide was. I hope I have it written down. But it wasn't amazing conditions. I think it was an increasing tide, like a 10:30 high or something like that. And went through the back channels and the main channel and didn't get anything, and that was it. But short white sea bass it's not a terrible day. That's a cool little exotic. I did not try for spotted bay bass. I'll leave that to the next report, which I did, I think, a week later, and the tide was better. That's right. The first tide was pretty lackluster. It was like a half moon or something like that. You know how those are. And not a whole lot of current. Then the second time I went out a week later, I was like, all right, now I'm going to go for the bay bass. Maybe on a spring tide, it'll be popping, summer bay bass, and hopefully I can put like a dozen in the boat, make it look easy, which I've never made bay bass fishing look easy. So yeah, I went out there and got one early, and then I never got another. And once again, I went through a decent amount of areas, poking around. I also brought with me, what was I doing? I brought number 10 hooks and banana peels, and was trying to catch a mullet. Have you ever heard of that? Going to try and catch a mullet with banana peels? Somebody told me that they did that. Somebody was doing that. They were having success, like in Newport. So I'm trying that. I want to get one of those. I bet that would be fun. And in the south, way down there in the southeast, they have mullet fries. When it's mullet season, they go all Cajun and they butterfly fillet the mullet, and they go all season the fuck out of it and eat it. And apparently it's really good. Doesn't sound good to me, but to each his own. And I'm sure they have it figured out. They've got it dialed. I've never done it, so what do I know? I've never even seen it. So yeah, the bay bass fishing sucked. The mullet fishing sucked. Tried micro fishing. Like whenever I was like stopped on a dock, I'd also have like a line down on the bottom with like a squid tentacle, looking for something stupid like a goby or a turbot or whatever the fuck. And I got like the juvenile, a super dink sand bass, but that was also that I would consider that unsuccessful. But yeah, that was that trip. Moving on to an offshore trip. This was about this time last week, I believe. I saw that on Terrafin. Shout out. There was a warm water bubble over by the Avalon Knoll. As there, I've noticed, at least in the last like year or so, there tends to be the warmest water in like from Orange County coast to Catalina. There tends to be a warm water bubble like right out in front of Avalon or Avalon Knoll. And I know last year there ended up the Dorado were like over like the 209, 267 slide, and then they kind of hovered over there, and there was a body of fish over there and some marlin and stuff. So I went over there last Thursday, got some really nice conditions, and was looking for yellowfin tuna. I'm really not looking for any more bluefin because that's all that filled up the freezer. And that was unsuccessful. The water over the Huntington Flats was like 62 to 64. Very cool for September. And once I got out past the ledge and into the channel, I was finding the water just kept warming and warming, and peaked at like 68.1, but it was hovering for the most part around the Avalon Knoll at 67.75. And I believe there was a gill netter out there, and so there was a lot of bait, a lot of micro bait. And there was a shitload of dolphins. There was like hundreds of dolphins. There were some birds. I didn't see any tuna action. I felt like there should have been, but there was not. And so I went around. I almost went to the slide, but then I looked at the clock and it was already like 11 a.m. And I was like, I'm not going to come back like on a 3-hour boat ride with potentially the wind coming up and getting my ass beat for 3 hours. That sounds like fucking stupid. And nobody told me there were fish over at the slide, so I'm not going to do that. So I didn't do that. So then I was trolling for the day. As long as I was over more than like 500 feet of water, I was trolling a cedar plug. And then when the water was over like 66 or 67, I was trolling a Yozuri high-speed vibe. And there was a lot of grass in the water and some other kelp. and it was difficult to troll both at the same time, especially the Yozuri with the trebles. So eventually I gave up on the Yozuri and just had the cedar plug back there. On the way back, I was a few miles south of the oil rigs and over about 900 feet of water, and I got bit on a cedar plug. And I was like, oh my God, what the fuck? And so I start slowing down, I keep pressure on it, start slowly putting more drag on. I was probably at a few pounds to start and try to button it up to like 6 or 8 or something like that. And I didn't get very far before whatever it was popped off. So at first I thought like, whoa, that was like a stray tuna, you know? And I got it back, and I think I was running like 100-pound leader. And there was like little tiny bite marks on the bottom of the cedar plug, and that looked kind of like tuna teeth to me. And then I saw on the line underneath the cedar plug, it had some pretty good gashes in it. I'm kind of surprised I didn't lose the lure in the hook. So I have a feeling that was actually like maybe a mako. I feel like more the teeth seemed like it would be more like a blue shark, but what do I know? Regardless, I didn't catch it, and but yeah, there were some gashes on the line. I don't think it was a tuna. So that was that. The only things that have ever bit my cedar plug, I caught a pelagic stingray this time last year, also over the Avalon Knoll, except the water was 75 degrees or so. I caught a pelagic stingray on a cedar plug. What the hell? And this time I think it was a shark. I've yet to hook a bony fish, only the cartilaginous varieties. So yeah, so that was it. And then pulled up in like 260 feet of water, took off my jacket, looked at the meter, and it was like loaded with rockfish. And I thought about it, and I was like, no, I don't want to clean up any fish, and I'd have plenty of fish in the freezer. I got 2 big bodies in the freezer. I'm still working on it. So I did not bother to catch any rockfish, but I feel like I'll be due for it. I want to go. Well, yeah, I guess I could get there. But yeah, that was it for that trip. Really, really nice conditions all day. The wind started coming up a little bit around 11 a.m. around the island, but as soon as I got back towards the shelf, it was glass. It was very nice. And like at noon, it was glass. It was beautiful. And yeah, that's it. I also tried fishing at a local lake pond thing, and I'm trying to catch a pleco, trying to catch a green sunfish. I think those are the only new species I'm trying to get out of there. And yeah, that's I got one little bite. It's probably a panfish, and that was it. I have some fresh redworms. Redworms are the tiny, tiny ones. I love that shit. I'm using 14, some kind of fly tying hooks, like midge hooks. No, not midge hooks. Those are the sort of teardrop flavored ones. What's the they're all straight hooks. They're 14 hooks, size 14. And yeah, I'm trying to load up on species. I think I've got how many do I have? I think I have like 11 new species this year. Good job, Jeremy. High five. And I'm still staring at species 130. Trying to get that one. I'd like it to be a Corbina, so we'll get into that now. It's fall now, so that's something to talk about. What's going on with the fall? Well, I'll tell you. There's we still got plenty of bluefin and yellowfin tuna in state waters, and we still have all our warm water fish, except maybe they're receding a little bit. So, you got to get in on it before it's gone. This is the time, now or never. Don't miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a season, so go do it. They're still getting out of San Diego, and I think I just saw it at Davies Locker. They're getting yellowfin tuna and bluefin tuna still on full day trips, and some Dorado still. It never became the Dorado season that we had last year, but it's all good with me. But that's how that be like. I'm not really seeing the inshore or the coastal yellowfin. I do think last I checked, the bluefin were still kind of around. They're popping up around. Where were they? I thought I saw them around like not me with my own eyes, but I thought I saw reports of them. Definitely like last week they were around the 14. They might still be around the Slide or that kind of area. Definitely further south. I had a pal, shout out Jared. He went on what did you go on? The Bongos. And sounds like they went kind of south towards San Diego and found some yellowfin tuna. So that's cool. So that's still happening. The bass are around, but they're not popping off, but they are around. I was checking in shallow, and they weren't quite. They weren't as prolific as I'd hope for them to be, but such is life. So, as the water cools off, I do think that actually, you know what? You know what I haven't seen this year is bonito. I never saw the bonito. I thought I saw some surface action, but I don't think it was bonito. At least in like the, what do you call it? The San Pedro Huntington Bight. I have not seen the bonito. There's been some mackerel. Not in huge numbers, but is what it is. So that's what that is. So you got to get out there, man. The full day tuna trips they're going to turn into overnighters in 1.5 days in order to get your yellowfin real quick. Probably in the next couple weeks. It's probably going to the winds of change are here. You taste it in the air. You're finally wearing jackets at night. Have you noticed that? I noticed that. So that's the thing. So you got to get out there, man. That's all I got to say about that. All right, I got a PSA. I think this is fairly important. September 15th, rockfish closure. You can't take nearshore rockfish, what California defines as nearshore rockfish, after September 15th. So that means that you cannot keep black rockfish, which we don't really even have anyways. Black and yellow, which are pretty fucking rare. Blue, can't keep blues. Can't keep brown rockfish, calico rockfish. Why would you? They're like 4 inches long. China, copper, gopher, grass, kelp, olive, and quillback rockfishes, and treefish. Can't keep any of those now through December 31st, or really I think till like March 31st of next year. And then September 16th through 31st, you cannot keep. This is a really... Okay. You cannot keep these fish shoreward of a 300-foot fathom line. There's a boundary line that you can look up. You can get the contour. You can get the coordinates. Draw the line in your GPS, and then you cannot fish shoreward of that for these species. Are you ready? It's you can't keep Boccaccio, canaries, chili peppers, duskies, flags, green blotched, green spotted, green striped, harlequin. Ah, yes, the harlequin. Honeycombs. Why would you? Mexicans, as if they show up shoreward of 300 feet. Pinks, same. Red stripes, same. Rose thorns, same. Rosy, short belly, silver gray, speckled, square spots, starries, striped tails, tigers, vermilions, widows, and yellowtail rockfishes. You can't keep any of those shoreward of 300 foot. Their 300 foot coordinates. Bear in mind. Lingcod, can't do it. Slope rockfish, which honestly you will probably never get shoreward of 300 foot, but here they are anyways. Auroras, banks, black gills, dark blotched, red banded, rough eye, sharp chin, short raker, split nose. This sounds like a fucking Harley Davidson gang member names. Anyways, and yellowmouth rockfishes and Pacific Ocean perch. So, yeah. Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, I know I'm going to end up trying to catch some pisons in December, so I really got to plug in that 50 fathom thing. Somebody on Bloody Decks posted they put together a file where you can just download the file or put it onto what do you call it? Put it onto your flash drive or whatever the fuck. Flash drive? Was it SD card that you put into your GPS if you have that kind of technology? So I need to move that over. But yeah, that's really important. Don't get fucked. Don't get fucked with that. That's not good. So it is very complicated, and if you're not confident in your ability to follow all those laws and all that stuff, then just fish for bass or whatever, and don't keep any rockfish because who knows what the fuck. But if you're gonna fish, I don't know, man. Because the thing is with the coordinates and the contour lines and all that shit is that I liked it when it was like, oh, you can only fish to the 600 foot fathom line, but if you fish near canyons, then you could actually fish in like 1,300 feet of water inside that canyon for like black gills and sablefish and stuff. But now it's like, okay, well now I have to go like extra deep to avoid that shit. So then not a lot of spots to do that, at least locally. So it's going to be a little bit of a trick, but we'll see how that goes. So there's that for you. That's important. Okay? Okay. What's the game plan? Well, I'll tell you. Gonna go out with a buddy on Monday. See how that goes. Some inshore stuff. Should be nice weather. Should be good times. I keep saying it. I'm gonna go for Corbina. I wish there was a way to hold me accountable for that, because it would be real nice if I just suddenly became a morning person, but I really wake up at 10:30 or 11 a.m., go to bed at can't fall asleep until 2 a.m., so waking up at 6 or 6:30 or whatever to head down to the beach for a sunrise, low tide, Corbina fucking session sounds like walking on the moon to me right now. But I want to do it. I do want to do it. I'm sure they'll be around. They've got to be around, right? If you walk enough beach, you'll find at least one crab bed. I don't know. So I got to get out there. I got to do it so I can talk about it. And, get a Corbina. Not 20 years, but a long time. A long time of surf fishing without catching a Corbina. So you got to go do that. You got to go wear your khaki shorts and your sky-colored shirt and stand up on the berm way up high and have your sand crabs in your pocket and your 4-pound leader and your 1/4-ounce sinker, 3-foot leader. Send it down onto dry sand right on top of a sand crab bed. Wave comes in, Corbina follow in with the water. Scoop up your sand crab and you're on, buddy. You're on. So I got to do that. I've known about it for a very long time, and I just, I'm all prepped up. I even have a fly rod set up. I got a 4-weight sinking weight, heavy sinking line, and some pink merkins even, and I still haven't even used them. And it's like, you got to go do that, buddy. Okay. So let's get me out there. Let's do that a couple times this upcoming week and see if we can find something. So that's my game plan. There are some the tides for the upcoming week are like something along the lines of like 5 to 7 a.m. low tides and around noon high tides and a decent water movement in there. So it's gotta turn into something, man. It's gotta turn into something. So that's my whole plan, man. The ocean looks super mellow. Some really good days to get out this week. So if you're gonna do it, do it. And yeah, not even that much wind, like 2 foot at 10. It's nice, dude. So just get out there, have a good time, lower your expectations, just see what's out there. Hashtag, what's that, a California? Visit California, see what's out there. Is that what that is? Or is that like California reservations? I don't know. So that's what that is. Like I said, I think there's definitely some local bluefin. So I even see some popping up available to the Ventura fuckers. Shout out. You don't always get shots at them, but they're around up there. I hear, so that's cool. Um, yeah, I really don't have that much to say this week, but I gotta pop in, drop a line, let you know what's going on. So there you go, buddies. Good luck, and I'll drop in sooner than I did last. So good luck out there. Be safe.